Hey guys, wanted to go ahead and talk about this article that I read that has actually been, I just found it a trip. And the concept of it is maximizers versus satisficers. So basically there's an actual article in 1956 where a psychologist, Herbert Simon, basically found out that there are two types of, folks when it comes to folks that are looking for things. There's maximizers and there's satisficers. So maximizers, they exhaustively seek the best. They're comparing decisions with others, and they expend more time and energy, and they're unhappier with their outcomes. Satisficers, they accept good enough. They don't obsess over other options. They can move on after deciding, and they're happier with their outcomes. And here's another diagram here. A maximizer is only the best can do. They constantly worry about something else that could be better than the current choice, and they're happy only when they feel they got the best. A satisficer is good enough will do. They're not worried about the possibility that something else will be better, and they're happy when something meets their criteria. And it doesn't have to be the best. And I just found it so funny because I'm a maximizer. I'm this category on the left. And I remember just thinking to myself, holy cow, that is totally me. And I just kind of just thought it was so funny. And let me give you an example, right? So let's say it's an average person looking for, let's say, a water bottle, okay? A water bottle, right? An average person, what they usually do is they go to Target and they just go to get a water bottle, and they're like, that's good enough for me. You know what I do? It's a little bit different, but this is what I do. I usually will be like this. This is me, literally me. Best water bottles, right? I'll type it in, and it's gonna be some something from Wirecutter. I look in this, and I don't really trust Wirecutter all the time, but I'll look at what they say, right? And I'll read all what they're saying are their best water bottles. Then I'll go on YouTube, as an example. This is just an example, and then I start reading up and just getting a sense of narrowing it down and kind of choosing, and then eventually I go, okay, let's go best water bottles Reddit, right? And then I go then it just eventually what happens is there's 6 or 7 water bottles that all look really interesting, and I will never really know. And so what I do is I buy all 7, and then I test all 7, and then I return everything and I only keep 1. And that's a maximizer. You know what I mean? And there's a difference. Now I do want to make something clear. There's a difference between a maximizer and a maximalist. So this is an example of a maximalist. They just collect. They collect and collect. Or this is a maximalist. They collect shoes, collect. The difference is a maximizer is this person, but where they've tested the shoes, but they only keep 1. Only 1 or 2 pair of shoes, the Grail shoes. Or this person here, they go through and they choose the Grail knife. Let's say they chose the Waypoint. You know what I mean? And they return the rest. That's kind of how I am, where I literally will go through and I test everything, and then I return everything. And people, some of my friends are just oh my God, you're ruining the world. You're just every time you return, you're wasting. And I'm just but I want to get the best shit. I don't want anything that's second best. And the point I want to say is two reasons I want to bring this up. But 3 reasons. Number 1, I think it's interesting. Number 2, this is me. I'm a maximizer. But number 3, y'all are maximizers too. I actually go in audio forums and I look at all these people in audio, and you guys are all maximizers, and you don't even know it. You're just I'm looking for the best microphone. Is it the TLM103? Is it the MKH416? Is it the SM7B? Is it this? Is it that? What about this interface? You are exhaustively seeking the best. You are comparing your decisions with others, and you're expending more time and energy, and you're unhappier with the outcomes, and you don't accept good enough. And that's okay. I just think it's funny because we're all in the same boat. We're all maximizers. You're a maximizer. I'm a maximizer. That's by what everybody says. And it's just funny. I'm not quite this person, but there's a person named Project Farm, and I look up to this guy, and I actually, my reviews are not quite like his, but I admire this dude, man, because he's just what he does is homeboy literally went through 20 different freaking power banks to figure out which is the best power bank. And he did all these tests. Or just recently, he got 20 different freaking nonstick pans to figure out what's the best nonstick pan. I mean, this dude is awesome. But he is the perfect example of a maximizer. He goes through and tries to, I'll give you another example, max level EDC in scissors, right? This is an example of this dude went through freaking tons and tons of scissors to figure out what was the best scissor on a tool. That's a maximizer, man. well, he might actually be a maximalist because I think he collects a lot of stuff. Like, I think he's not a maximizer. I think he's a maximalist. But I mean, that's a whole other topic altogether. But you know what I'm saying? We're all maximizers, and it's just a really interesting concept. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Would you say you're a maximizer, or would you say you're a satisficer?